Now, a new war front has officially opened up between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel has launched widespread strikes on Hezbollah, striking around 290 targets, as well as thousands of rocket launcher barrels. But it only did so after sending warning messages to Lebanese civilians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed that Israel will take whatever actions necessary so that families from northern Israel can return home.
In the subsequent months, they haven't stopped for a single day attacking us. No country can accept the wanton rocketing of its cities. We can't accept it either. We will take whatever action is necessary to restore security and to bring our people safe back to their homes.
Hezbollah has fired more than 100 rockets deep into Israel just over the weekend, but as we know, 8,000 since October 7. And meanwhile, Israel has killed Hezbollah leaders in an airstrike on Friday. And at the time they were killed, they were reportedly planning another October 7-like invasion. Now, meanwhile, there's also reports, and I'm going to ask Sharren Haskel about these in a moment, that Netanyahu has said privately that he believes around half of the 100 hostages in Gaza are still alive. So half not alive. And he's reportedly looking at what action he can take in northern Gaza. Israel has also raided the Al Jazeera offices in the West Bank, issuing a 45-day closure order. And Israel claims that the Al Jazeera Bureau has been inciting terror and supporting terrorist activities. Let's bring in now Israeli politician Sharren Haskel. Sharren, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. So much to talk about. Let's start with the war against Hezbollah. Now, we're hearing that resources are being diverted from Gaza to the north of Israel. Are you expecting a major war now between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think we can avoid that. Sharri, I was on your show about a month ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and I think also 11 months ago. And all of that time, for 11 months, Hezbollah has been attacking Israel with rockets, civilians, destroying towns in Israel, massacring children and elderly, people who fled from their homes or refugees here in Israel, tens of thousands. And no matter how much pressure the international community is putting on Hezbollah, including France and the United States and other friends who are trying for months to negotiate an agreement, unfortunately, Hezbollah is not interested in that. And therefore, we are left with only one choice, which is full confrontation. I've said on your show, I think 11 months ago, and that was even before one soldier set foot in Gaza. That was after the 7th of October massacre, when Hezbollah started firing rockets towards Israel. Why? Why? Not even a single soldier set foot yet in Gaza. It is because this war is a war with Iran. This is a war of radical Islam who is fighting our ideas, our community, our culture, the way that we live in a democratic and free society. And so this issue is about a far wider and regional war. And so unfortunately, as I said 11 months ago, we do not want to see the sites of Jabalia in Beirut, but unfortunately Hezbollah is not leaving us with many options.
So have you been briefed, you're a member of the Israeli parliament and the Knesset, have you got other information you can share with us on what the end game is here? Are you expecting there to be widespread or even wider strikes, despite the United States trying to de-escalate the situation, tell Israel that, it shouldn't defend itself against Hezbollah?
Well, there's only, there's a very simple step that can be made in order to stop this escalation and this confrontation. And it is that Hezbollah will go back to the Litani line, the resolution, of the Security Council and the United Nations that brought up that Hezbollah cannot advance more than that line was broken. And so if they want the de-escalation, they need to go back behind this line. We've said it numerous times throughout all these months. We need that in order for our people, our families, to be able to go back to their home safely without being worried that their home is going to be hit by RPGs, by missiles. Children that goes to play soccer won't be massacred in the middle of the game. That's the only thing that we want. We want to be able to go back to our life living safely and securely. And for that, Hezbollah needs to go back behind the Litani River line.
Sharren, I've spoken to you before on the program about how the Australian government has given almost 3,000 tourist visas, visitor visas, to Gazans without proper security checks. Well, we've now learnt just on the weekend that some of the security checks actually didn't happen until after the Gazans had arrived in Australia. Given your intimate knowledge of the situation, how concerned would you be about the Palestinians arriving here without security checks, about whether they might support Hamas or the October 7 attacks?
So I would be extremely worried. I mean, this is Australia importing, the problems of the Middle East. We are at war, and we're not in a territorial war. This is a religious and a cultural war. This is radical Islam against Western civilization. And instead of trying to deal with the core of this problem, Australia is actually importing that problem into your own country. And I've seen the rise of anti-Semitism in Australia. We've seen different terrorist attacks who were prevented last minute. People could have been killed. And I think that the Australian government hasn't, the penny didn't drop yet. They don't understand it yet. And unfortunately, they might understand it when it's too late. You see terror cells who are already set in Europe, in South Central America, in Canada. I mean, look, the place where Hezbollah go to collect donations, the best place for them is Canada. It's the center of, collecting donations for Hezbollah. Okay, so the government has to have enough information about the individuals that they haven't been part of terrorist group, of plotting, of murdering, of executing, of burning, that they don't import those radical ideas into Australia, making sure that women and children who have peace, who want to find a better life, that can assimilate into the beautiful Australian community and the country, that's what they actually want.
Yeah, it's a highly concerning situation. We should not take our peaceful country for granted. Sharren Haskel, always great having you on the show. Thank you for your time.